Hello guys, this is NR Trimman here. I am back after having an absolute fantastic time in England. I got some pretty good action throughout the several days I was over there. But like I said in the video before I went over it, the main highlight was definitely the Flying Scotsman. The trip on the Flying Scotsman from York to Carlisle was unbelievable. The scenery along the Shetland Carlisle line was fantastic. And during the trip even passed through England's highest station, which is called Dent, on the Shetland Carlisle line. It was a fantastic trip. Had a really good time. Got quite a lot of footage because I actually filled up 2 memory cards. I am flipping glad I brung the backup card. Phew. Got some good action around York Station. Because I got so much action there. If I put all the stuff into one video, it'll be too long. So, for footage from York Station, I'm going to be separating that video into parts. So, there's probably going to be about 4, even 5 parts of action from York. And yes, I did get several freight trains throughout the trip. And the flight on the Flybe -8 Q400 to Leeds and back again was lovely. Yes, I did get footage on the flight, so I'm thinking for the onboard flight footage, I'm thinking of putting that up first. I might upload maybe something from NIR or something first, and then stick up the aircraft, or I might just put the -8 up in my next video after this one. But yes, it was a very good trip. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, got a couple of rides on trains. Got a ride on a Class 150 Sprinter on Friday heading to York. Unfortunately, the train was too busy for any footage on board. Then obviously it was the Flying Scotsman. Got plenty of footage on that. And then there was a Class 91 Virgin Trains East Coast Mark IV set to Doncaster on Monday. Again, that was a bit too busy, so I didn't film on that. On the way back from Doncaster, I had a good old HST 125, or Class 43s as they're known. And yes, I did get footage on the HST. I got footage near the window leaving Doncaster, then some shots from inside the interior moving along the line at close to 125 mile an hour. Obviously, there'd be far too much wind. You're leaning out of the window at 125 trying to get footage. So I decided to take the high-speed footage from inside the interior of the train. And then I got some leaning out of the window footage coming back into York, into platform 6. But yes, the HST was lovely. It covered the distance between Doncaster to York in about 20 minutes. That's pretty good going. It's something like 30 miles, Doncaster to York. That is pretty good going. Yes, it was a very enjoyable visit. Definitely, I think, one of the best trips I've had to England in recent years. I actually might show you a couple of photographs here on my phone of some of the trains from the trip. I did actually get some footage on board buses as well when I was over there. I did get footage on my bus from Leeds Bradford Airport to the city centre, which was a brand new Enviro 200. Very nice little vehicle. And then the day before I flew back home, I got some footage on board a Mercedes bendy bus. And believe it or not, that was my first ever ride on a bendy bus. Of all the years I've been spotting buses, that was my first ride on a bendy. And I got some nice footage as well. Nice engine noise in the Mercedes. But yes, I'm going to show you here a couple of photographs from the trip. First of all, here's my chariot on Friday morning heading to Leeds. This beauty. Then this was my bus from the airport. This is the Enviro 200. Brand new one too. I actually think it looks pretty decent. Then there was my ride from Leeds to York, class 150 DMU 150271. Then, when I was in York City Centre that evening, I saw this parked up in the street. A Olympian, which is now in private ownership, being used as a ticket office for uh, some sort of show thing, I think it was. But yes, it was a Olympian. Don't know where it originally came from. I was looking closely at it to see if it was maybe an ex-Dublin bus Olympian, but it wasn't. And then a photograph on the action at York Station that evening. Class 91, well, Class 82 DVT, and an HST side by side, looking well in the sunshine. Here are some nice DMUs that run through York. Class 185s. Previously, on trips previously to York, I have had rides in one of these. They're absolute flying machines, lovely things. And yes, I did get some footage of these Pacers. This Pacer, however, is pretty unique. This is actually a refurbished Class 144 Pacer. 144012. Must say it looks well after its refurbishment. I think they refurbished one of them to see if they could ever become wheelchair friendly, the Pacers, because they're first time they're meant to be getting withdrawn in 2018, I think it is. I'm open to corrections in that one. Yes, every single freight train I got in York, Leeds, and Doncaster were hauled by these good old Class 66s. And actually, this 66, which is 66739, was nicknamed the Bluebell Railway. It's not really focusing on the nameplate there, but that says Bluebell Railway. Very nice name for a Class 66. Yeah, it wasn't just the 144 Pacers I got. I also got the older class of Pacer, the Class 142s. And then on Saturday, I visited the National Railway Museum. I got some footage around the museum. I'll upload that in due course. But one of the most famous engines I saw in that museum was this beauty. A4 Pacific 4468 Mallard. Look how beautiful that engine is. Just look at it. It's so beautiful. What next? Here's one of my favorite BR diesel classes. Class 55 Deltics. Whoops. Sorry about that. There we go. Class 55 Deltic. Absolute beautiful machines. Some noise out of those beauties. In my trip to Railfest in York in 2012, I did get a 55 Deltic on a rail tour. 55022. Royal Scots Grey, I think her name is. But yes, it was an absolute fantastic trip. The National Railway Museum is unbelievable. It really is. And then I got this sneaky wee photograph. I was running one of the halls in the museum, and then I spotted the one I was looking for. Peering through the window in the local preparation road was the Flying Scotsman. There she is. Then obviously the next day on the Sunday, it was time for my trip on the Flying Scotsman. So I'm going to scroll up here and show you. Actually, first, before I show you the Flying Scotsman, have a look at this Mark II that's in the National Railway Museum. Doesn't it look a wee bit like a XNIR Gatwick? Interior is something similar. Gotta love a good old original Mark II interior. But yeah, I think that looks very similar to a Gatwick. And yes, there's quite a lot of Northern Ireland built buses rolling about in York. There's a Right Eclipse. Good to see a lot of my local country buses running over in England and other places. Before I show you the Flying Scotsman again, one of the bonuses on Saturday night was getting this, an East Midlands Trains HST on a rail tour in York. Beautiful machines, those HSTs. Now, here she is. Here was my chariot on Sunday, Flying Scotsman. Look how beautiful she looks. Absolute beautiful locomotive. It ran perfect all day. There's her nameplate. Flying Scotsman. And along the Settling Carlisle line, there were some beautiful stations. I forget the name of this one, but look at that. Look at the beautiful architecture of that station. Very nice. And the line as well, the Settling Carlisle line, is dotted all over the place with old semaphore signals. They're upper quadrant ones. Not really focusing well on them, but yes, there was semaphore signals all over the place. And here's the Scotsman upon arrival in Carlisle. There's a Trans-Pennine Express Class 350 EMU pulling alongside her there. And I was lucky enough to visit the cab on the Flying Scotsman. And there's a selfie I took. Let me see, what next? Here's the Scotsman at a station called Appleby during a water stop on the return journey. And then it was back in York, and then what hauled the carriages away in the evening on the diesel ECS move to Carnforth was something I was not expecting. The empty stock move in the evening was hauled by 2 Class 47 locomotives. That was a big bonus. I was expecting something like a 57 or something to work the ECS, but instead it was a double-headed Class 47. Beautiful. I got a nice clip of them leaving York. And then it was on to the next day. This was the day of the Doncaster trip. The day started by looking at one of these beauties. Grand Central Class 43 HST. I think that the one in that picture was heading to Sunderland, I think it was, from London. Then it was on the Doncaster. Got perfect weather in Doncaster all day. There's a Class 91, calling on platform number 1. I must say, the Virgin livery looks really good on the Class 91s and the HSTs. I don't know if you can hear that, but the Enterprise is passing outside. There's a Class 158 DMU next to a Class 142 Pacer, or Pacer buses as they're known as. That Pacer, where's my finger? There it is. That Pacer was actually the Pioneer Class 142 Pacer, 142001. And then I saw one of these cute little things. A Class 153 Sprinter, a cute little one-car unit. This was 153321 on a service to Lincoln, I think it was. And then got several of these passing through. Good old 66s. This is 66763, which is actually named the Severn Valley Railway. I definitely didn't get a shortage of these things at Doncaster. Class 185s. Beautiful things. Not the biggest fan of these, though. The Voyagers. I still filmed a few of them, though. And then sitting over in the sidings in Doncaster was one of these. Class 67 loco. 67... What was it? 67... 67,028, I think it was. Yep, 67,028. Then, just before departing Doncaster, just had to. Selfie on board in the HST. And I must say, Virgin have done a brilliant job on the East Coast HSTs. This is what they look like inside now. I think that's beautiful looking. It was nice and comfy, and there was plenty of leg room. Very nice trip. Sometime it will need to go for a longer run on one of those HSTs before they're withdrawn in 2019. Unfortunately, yes, the end is now for the HSTs. There's the power car sitting in Doncaster. Sorry, York. It was 43,290. And there's another Northern Ireland built bus. There is a Gemini 2. And this was the Mercedes. This is one of the This is the same class as the Mercedes Bentley I was on. It's one of these. Absolute beautiful things. Very nice running one. And there's a brand new street deck. A right bus street deck there. Owned by Coastline. Then, on the evening of my final day of the trip, I took this nice photograph. Sunset over York Station. York Station is a very impressive station. Nice Victorian style station. 11 platforms. Pretty busy. And even York still has some of these going around. And just recently, Belfast lost the last of these, but they still have BLEs in York. But these ones don't look as long as the TransLink ones. These might be B6s instead of B10s. Beautiful little things, though. The good news is with some of the Metro B10 BLEs that some of them have been sold on for private use. I believe some of them could be heading to the Cork area, I believe, for use with a private operator. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that one of the BLEs gets preserved. Unfortunately, as well, the Dublin bus BLEs, which are B6s, there's only one of them left in service, and it's only got a few weeks left. Be sad to see them going. I don't think I'll get a chance to get down to see them now, unfortunately. But moving on anyway, to the last day of the trip. Here's a photograph outside the front of York Station. And here's a look of what you can just tell how nice the architecture is in the station. In the photograph, you see a Class 142 Pacer bus and a Class 91 Virgin Train East Coast set. And then I saw this HST power car. National Railway Museum liveried one. 43,238. It is a special livery marking the 40th anniversary of the National Railway Museum. And guys, if you're ever in York, I highly recommend a visit to the National Railway Museum. To be honest, you could easily spend a whole day in York and the museum. The city itself, York City itself, is beautiful. Doncaster is an arse station I recommend. I did get some good action there. Not as many freight trains as I hope, but it is a good spot. You can get trains flying through the mill roads at high speed. And then my final train ride of the trip, the unit that did the honours for that run was this. Refurbished Norland Class 158 unit number 158752. Had a nice run to Blackpool in this. I didn't bother filming on that run. One, because I was short of memory, because I wanted to save it for the return flight. Two, I wanted to sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. But I did get a photograph of the interior of the 158, so there you go. As you can tell there, the service was heading to Blackpool North. I was travelling to Leeds on it. Then upon arrival in Leeds, I was greeted with this little thing. Another Class 153. 153304. There's my Class 158. Oh, there's my Class 158 departing for Blackpool. And then here is a photograph I took on board the Enviro 200. Just by chance, I had the exact same vehicle I had heading into Leeds on the Friday, back out to the airport. The exact same vehicle back to the airport. That's the interior of the Enviro 200. It had that new smell in it too. And then finally, here was my chariot back to Belfast. Looking well in the sunshine. And just by chance, that Dash-8 actually had a name, and it was called Spirit of Belfast. That's one of the Dash-8s I've actually been looking for. The one named Spirit of Belfast. The first time I see it, I'm actually ended up flying on it. It was a nice flight back as well. And yes, that's basically it for all the photographs. Well, there's one quick photograph taken on board the Dash-8 on the way back. And then, come on, there it is. One last photograph taken on the ground just after landing back in Belfast. But there you go, guys. That's some of the photographs I wanted to show you. Now, the hard task ahead is editing all the footage from the trip. It's going to take a while, so guys, please be patient. It is going to take a pretty long time for me to get all the stuff up. It'll take probably a couple of months at least. Like, there's quite a lot of footage. I've got 2 memory cards full of footage. The first video from the trip will be the flights on the Dash-8. So, that's the flight to Leeds and coming back again. I'll probably add them all into one video. So guys, stay tuned for them. But yes, like I said at the start of the video, it was an absolute fantastic trip. Had an absolutely marvelous time. And yeah, so guys, that's basically everything from this trip report video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and it's good to be back. So guys, normal service resumes. Normal service will resume. From tomorrow, most likely, when I'll start editing the footage. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed this trip report video. Now stay tuned for the footage from my trip and all the remaining footage I still have to put up from NIR and Irish Rail and a few more RPSI tours. But anyway, that's everything for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Right, guys, so all I have to say now is cheerio, guys. Thanks very much for watching.